Okay, I'm going to do one last one. I actually am going to upload all this right now. And I'm at my daughter's ranch. I'll try and go short. I caught some news, a little local news and a little world news, and I wasn't going to do another one. Matter of fact, I already edited some of the comments I was going to make for today's whole police department, Corpus Christi, Nueces County, all this stuff. And I went a little easier. I already deleted some other comments before I post. Now, why am I mad? This is a letter. My son-in-law got his wallet and gun stolen. And the police came to investigate, and of course the gun and everything. And my daughter just got a letter. And I said, I'm going to use this. It's not going to get my daughter or son-in-law in trouble, but it upsets me. And then I'll comment on the gang arrests that were made in Corpus Christi. Look. But here's the letter, right? Corpus Christi Police Department, criminal investigation. Do you see? The Corpus Christi Police Department is concerned when a member of our community becomes a victim of a crime. My son-in-law's gun and wallet and everything stolen out of his vehicle. An offense report has been generated, and your case has been reviewed by a police lieutenant to determine the solvability of the offense. At this time, there are not enough solvability factors for your case to warrant an assignment to a follow-up investigator. I've never seen something like this, where you make a criminal complaint and you get a letter from the PD that says, we have determined that your case does not warrant an investigation because there are not enough solvability factors in the crime that was committed against you. I know of no other department that would send a letter like that. You have enough solvability factors because you have the identification of the weapon that was stolen, the wallet, which has ID, driver's car license. That's a solvability factor, Mr. Markle. If you have things stolen that don't actually have ID that's stolen, then of course that's not considered solvable because the finding of ID, credit cards, which basically people use, they use. Now, and I wasn't going to do another one, but now I'll do it. The local news, which I just caught today, just now, showed that, and it was reported in the paper, but I noticed the numbers were a little off, but they did a big gang arrest, big gang bust, not only throughout the whole state of Texas, but from what I understand, throughout the country. And these were ICE raids, and other departments worked. And the local news reports that Corpus Christi had 165 arrests in this statewide and nationwide raid. And the news reported that there were 40 arrests in Houston, which has 7 times the population of Corpus Christi. And there were 164 or 65 in Corpus Christi. And if I got the news right, they said, according to the records of the most recent raids, that's the most, not only for the size of the city, but in any city. Now, what does that say? Look, I have many friends in many lifestyles, okay? And some are involved in various things. All of this is a statement on everything that I spoke about today. The fact that my daughter just got that letter, and it just simply said, we looked at the crime, breaking into my son-in-law's truck. We know the weapon that was stolen. You gave us the information on it, your wallet and everything else. And they said, we've just determined that it's not worth even investigating. I'm sad now that I deleted on the post, the written post that goes up in a few minutes when I get back to the house. Now I'm sad I deleted. There was a harsher section I had in there. And I looked at it and said, no, I'll just leave the way it is. The other thing about all of the, why were there more gang members arrested in the city of Corpus Christi than in Houston, Texas, which is 7 times the population of Corpus Christi, which is headline news on KRAS TV. It's not just that we're behind on policing and all. It has to do with you have corruption in the system. Do you understand this? You know, some of the things I have reported over the last 5 years were, and I gave the names, but there were officers that were actually involved in the underground gang activity. I reported how one of the guys, I'm not going to give the name again, but when they did a raid years back, one of the other officers that people knew, according to my friend, that officer went out there and collected all the guns out of a trailer park where there was arrests made. But that officer went after, because I asked my friend, and that officer, I said, was that officer on duty when he did that? They said no. He was in plain clothes, but that according to them, that it was obvious that he went and collected the rest of the evidence, meaning that maybe there was collusion involved. And that could be a reason why. And I look, I actually personally spoke to Internal Affairs off of William Street and said, and what I just told you, I said to the cop that said Internal Affairs, I said, you got officers out there, and I gave the name of one. I said, he's involved in criminal activity. He's in it. He's part of he's affiliated, which is the term used. And that cop and that Internal Affairs seemed to indicate he knew all that. Like, what else do you have? And I said, I'm not here to speak about that, man. That was 5 years ago now, maybe. And I only went to Internal Affairs not to report any of the other. I report things. I went because of the dumping ticket. I complained. I said, you know, you gave me that dumping ticket. And supposedly if I went and picked up the mattress that I dropped off for one of my homeless friends, then that's all I had to do. But then I still had to do the fine or the 6 months on just the dumping thing. So you got criminal stuff that goes on within this department. That's why the top story on the local news was Houston had 40-something arrests and Corpus Christi had 165. And if I got it right, that was more than the whole raids throughout the U.S. These were like statistics that came from ICE and all. And then you get a letter. I was going to say nothing else tonight. And that letter I just showed you, I never saw a letter like that from the police department. You report a burglary or robbery, and the department sends you a letter and says, we've determined that it's not worth our time to investigate a robbery from your vehicle. Let me explain solvability factor. There are times where things are robbed that are not solvable. But when you have credit cards, an ID, and driver's license, and a weapon that's identified, when you have all of that robbed, that's solvability because people go and use the credit card. I have no idea what these what the city is spending on money in this police department and in this county, where national media investigated and questioned. That made it to Huffington Post and other things, Breitbart, and they questioned. How do you have a judge shot in his chambers and you don't even have a full investigation, Judge Tom Greenwald? So, the politicos, Miss Watts and all of the inner circle, you have a huge problem here. You have a major problem in Corpus Christi, Texas.